There's only 6 pieces of gear that I think are absolutely essential that you need to get as a starting beginner. And really, 3 of those, you could argue you don't really need to start. So I wanna help you funnel everything down, all the noise, all the articles and videos you could watch, and just give you like straight up answers. Get this, not that, get this, not that. And if you wanna put this into an actionable kind of step-by-step plan, I put something together for you just as a compliment to this video. It's called a Studio Gear Blueprint, and you can get that at studiogearblueprint.com. It's totally free. I put it together and outlined what kind of pieces of gear you should get while totally blowing past the stuff you don't need to be bothered with, right? And the best part about this guide too is a little different. I can try to contextualize stuff based off where you're at. So if you're like a little more advanced and you've already got some gear, but you're wanting to add more, you can plug yourself into this blueprint and keep going with it. If you're just starting, you just need a few pieces of gear, watch this video, take this guide, and it'll walk you through what you need to get. I have my list of best recommendations there. No affiliate links, none of that stuff. Just wanna help you. As a fellow traveler, man, like I've had to buy the stuff over so many times because I've been stupid and sold all my gear time and time over. Hello, somebody. Hopefully someone resonates with that. But today we're gonna start really quick with the basics, all right? So here's the 3 basics you gotta have, and the best news is you probably already have most of this, like to keep it real. So what do we got? So we got a DAW, a computer, and headphones. We're gonna start with the computer, and the best computer to use is the one you already have. Right? A big myth is that you have to go out and buy like the latest Apple computer, the like most loaded up PC or something. No, just use the one that you already have, right? To get started. There's also another myth that old computers equal bad songs, which is just not true. And I'm like a living, breathing example of this. I'm rocking, have been rocking for like 8 years now, a 2014 dual core Mac Mini, right? It only has 16 gigs of RAM. This thing has 2 cores. It's on its last leg, guaranteed. But I've made all of my songs through this computer. At the beginning, you know, when you're starting out, computer power just shouldn't be an issue. To learn production, you're not gonna be like maxing out your computer, all right? You really shouldn't be. It should be a step at a time, slow and steady approach. You shouldn't be just chucking up all these plugins and virtual instruments to like produce stuff, all right? So at the beginning, computer power shouldn't be an issue. You don't need to worry about that for quite some time. So I would recommend for your computer, really the one that you own or have access to. Like for real, start there. Don't make it complicated. Got it? Cool, moving on. A DAW. A DAW is a digital audio workstation, okay? So I did a whole deep dive on this. You can check out the video where I talk about a DAW in depth. I go through several of them that I recommend, but right here's the SparkNotes version, okay? So we're gonna start with the free compatible DAW with your computer. So you're gonna notice these words in yellow are gonna appear as we go through this gear setup because all these things build off of each other, all right? It really is laying a foundation for other things. So it starts with a computer. Now we're gonna add a DAW to your computer. So you have to make sure it's specific. You have a Mac, you have to make sure it's cool with iOS. If you have a PC, you're gonna have to make sure it's compatible with the operating system. Super important. Big thing is to use one that you enjoy and find easy to interact with, right? Because you don't want to get bogged down with software that can become demotivating and discouraging, and discouragement is like the biggest thing that kills creativity, right? So you want to find something that's kind of easy to figure out, one that you wouldn't mind learning, because with any DAW, there's going to come a learning curve, right? If you're a beginner, if you're just starting out and you've never used a DAW before, when you crack it open, it's a new piece of software. No matter which one you get, it's gonna take a learning curve. So you wanna find one that looks cool to you. Like, I don't know, just pick one because it looks cool or because one of your buddies uses it or something, all right? So my recommendation for a DAW is gonna be, if you're on a Mac, go get GarageBand. It's free. Both of these options are free, but GarageBand I think already comes with Mac, like preloaded. So open that thing up, start playing around. PC, Ableton Live Lite, the Lite version, all right? And I'll have links to both of these in the description in case you don't have it, you wanna download it, or you wanna learn more about these DAWs. I got you covered in the description, all right? So on a PC, Ableton Live Lite, Mac, GarageBand. Cool, so we've got our computer, we've got our DAW, which is gonna be our digital canvas to create stuff in. Now we need to hear what we're creating, right? And I'm gonna steer you clear of monitors right now. You don't need to go out and buy a big, fancy pair of monitors. Just use headphones, right? And the best part is, just like the computer, you probably already have a pair that you could use. Ideally, you wanna do over-ear headphones. If you have like earbuds or something in there, totally fine. Like if you go watch the Recording Revolution and look up some of the tutorials there, Graham is over there mixing like an entire EP or something with earbuds. Like it's totally possible that you can do this stuff. But if you are gonna purchase some, try to get some over-ear ones so you can kind of block out some noise if you're at home or the family or whatever, like so you can really focus on what you're creating. This is kind of like a practical tip, is you wanna buy a pair of headphones that has like a long enough cord to reach to your computer. Right? Because if you start tracking vocals or something, you got your microphone and then your computer's like all the way over here and that cord isn't too long and maybe you start really getting into it and you could like unhatch the headphones from the computer, right? Like you could like push it out. So you could always buy like an extension if you needed to, if it's too small or you wanted to use your earbuds, you could get an extension for that if you start to use a microphone or like record an instrument or something like that. Just so you have a little more room to like play and feel it out if you're that kind of player. Okay, so my recommendation is gonna be the Audio-Technica ATH M20X. I'm gonna have links for this in the description, of course. And by the way, none of these links are affiliate links. Like, I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. This is just stuff that I've used before and I know that's awesome, okay? So $50, you cannot go wrong with this. So check out this pair of headphones. If you don't have one and you're looking to buy one, start here. They're awesome. They're super, super cool. Okay, so that's the basics. We've got our DAW, we've got our computer, we got our headphones. You can create music now. Let it be made clear. Despite any other YouTube videos, any other blog articles, any or whatever you think you need, this is it. 1, 2, 3, uno, dos, tres. DAW, computer, headphones, you can literally start creating stuff now. I would argue you could even create stuff without the headphones, but you kind of want to be able to hear what you're saying instead of relying on the computer stuff. So 1, 2, 3, you can create your songs. If we're trying to do production and take things up a little bit further and you care about clean vocals, you care about a clean instrument recording, you care about like being able to program other instruments, this is where we're kind of stepping into that next level, okay? So if that was the first 3, here's the next 3. We're gonna talk about an interface, MIDI keyboard, and a microphone. An interface is like a magic box that plugs into your computer and talks with your DAW. This is not the official technical definition, by the way. You can look it up. This is just how I summed it up. It's a magic box that plugs into your computer and talks with your DAW. Remember the DAW that we had back with our computer? Yeah, our music creation software. This box is gonna let us put stuff into that software. It's super awesome and super useful. This means that we could record audio for vocals and live instruments, right? And better yet, we have the opportunity to record clean audio. Clean audio, what does that mean? It just means that you can have audio that can go into your DAW that's kind of undisturbed. You know, like there's not a lot of background fuzz, there's not a lot of background noise, there's not a lot of interruptions. Like it's a clean signal that'll drop that audio into your DAW, give you the option to edit it now, to make it sound however you want it to because you have a clean signal in there. More of a practical tip too for buying an interface is to only buy as many inputs as you truly need. So there's all kinds of interfaces and you can see up top there, like there's a couple different holes and that's gonna be for different kinds of cables, which could be for a different kind of instrument, microphone, etc. So if you have a guitar and you wanna record your vocals, so maybe you're gonna get a microphone at some point, you wanna make sure there's a line in, right, for your guitar, and you wanna make sure there's an XLR input, that 3-pronged hole right there for a decent microphone or something, okay? So as many instruments as you have, or you might track at one time, that's what you wanna get. If you're on a true budget and you are not trying to spend any more money than you have to, then just get like the lowest one. So you wanna find like just one input actually is enough to get the job done, to record vocals, record stuff. You may not be able to do stuff at the exact same time, right? But it doesn't mean that you couldn't track one thing and then track another thing. So if you wanna go for it that way, that's all you. So we're gonna be rocking with the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. That's my recommendation. I have constantly come back to this thing. Like I said in the beginning, I've bought and resold all my setup stuff multiple times, like 4 or 5 times, all right? So 3 of those times, I've come back to this specific interface because it's cheaper, it's great. I've never had any problems with it, and anyone that I've ever worked with too has had nothing bad to say about it. I found one of these $85 refurbished, okay? So if you're on a budget, man, look for refurbished stuff. That's gonna be one of your best bets to save money and still get gear. It's just gear. It's just stuff. Like I said, having rebought all my stuff multiple times, I've learned where to cut corners. I've learned what to skimp on. In an interface to just record some stuff, You want it to be decent. You don't want to get like a $20 little interface, okay? But you don't need to be spending $500+ on an interface if you're getting started. Go for something like the Scarlett Solo. You're gonna be set. You're gonna be set. You'll have no worries for quite a long time, all right? Microphone, here we go. A microphone, just quick sum up, will connect to your interface, what we just talked about. Like I was saying, you can plug it in. Microphone will connect to your interface. The interface is gonna go into your computer, right? And that computer is gonna talk with your DAW. That DAW is right there. So all of these play together, right? If you're wondering, how does sound get from like the microphone into the computer? Well, that's how it goes. I'm gonna sing into the mic, track an instrument into the microphone. The microphone's gonna go into an interface, like the Scarlett Solo that I recommended. That interface is connected to the computer, which should be the one we already have or have access to, right? That computer, we loaded a free DAW onto it. So now whatever I'm recording out here is gonna sound real nice and clean and pretty going into the DAW when I listen to it and play it back. So that now I have a clean audio source that I can clean up, affect, whatever I want to do to it, right, to create the song that I want to make. This microphone that you're going to get, we want to try to find one that can capture focused and clear audio for vocals. And this is really just about any microphone will do this. Microphones are overhyped. The fact that you need to get an expensive microphone has become such like a dogmatic way of thinking that an expensive mic means expensive sounding vocals. Could not be further from the truth. There are things that are gonna affect the vocal way more than the microphone that you choose. Like the performance, like is it in tune? Does it sound believable? Does it sound good? All of that stuff is gonna come way before the like expensive microphone. So don't think that. Like a cheap mic does not mean cheap sounding audio quality. It doesn't have to. And especially since you can learn and you can teach yourself as you kind of move from the beginner to intermediate stage of song creation, you can learn how to clean up audio. You can learn how to mix and learn how to make things sound good, even if it came from a not ideal source, according to whoever, all right? So we got our microphone. The one that I would recommend for you guys is the Shure SM57. Not the Shure SM7. So make sure you have the 5 in there. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at like a few $100 price tag difference. So the SM57, that's one that I think you should go with. I've recorded songs on this kind of microphone before in my home studio way back, and it's awesome. Really, it sounds great. $99 brand new. I found one $75 refurbished. Pretty sweet, telling you, we gotta go after that refurbished stuff. A microphone, if you get it from like a reputable dealer, it's just a little less money, like open box or something, it's gonna be great. It's no different, and you'll save like a few bucks, so let's go. Let's go. Okay, so the next one that I wanna go through is gonna be a Midi keyboard. A Midi keyboard will connect to your computer and talk with your DAW, okay? Just like your audio interface is separate and it's connected to your computer, your Midi keyboard is a separate device that connects to your computer. It talks to your computer and your DAW in a different way though. So over here to my left right here, this is the Midi keyboard. This keyboard makes no sound by itself, right? So if I'm hitting it, like there's no sound. It's not a traditional keyboard. It's not an upright piano, right? It's just the keys laid out. I plug this into my DAW, right? And I can load up an instrument to replace these keys. So I can play instruments that I don't own. I can play instruments that I don't even know how to play. I can play instruments I wouldn't even dream of wanting to play ever in my whole life. But it could be a cool sound that you want to add to a song. There was a song that I played. I was looking for an Indian sitar kind of stringed Middle Eastern instrument for this bridge. It was really cool. I don't play that. I don't have access to that. And I'm not about to go like research and buy one of these things, right? I loaded one up from my DAW into here, and now I'm effectively playing an instrument that I can't play. This is awesome because now you can add stuff and produce and program instruments into your song. This is powerful. We can't underestimate a Midi keyboard. So even if you go after a small one, like a 25 key series or something, that's gonna be enough for you to have room to play around, even if you don't play piano. You don't have to play piano to play a Midi keyboard. Like, it's hitting buttons and creating sounds. It's awesome for drum programming. It's awesome for just a single chord, like if you want to add a string or a bass or a synth or anything like that to your songs, there you are, you're all set up. So I would recommend, I got two options here. So the first one would be an Akai Pro LPK 25, all right? That's a 25 key version. This one's $59 new. Like, this is not expensive stuff. It's $40 refurbished, I found. 40 bucks to have access to play instruments you can't play and program stuff. It's pretty sweet. Another one, if you do play piano, so, you know, if that's like your instrument, it could be worth getting more keys because it'll feel a little more at home and you have more room to play around. In that case, or if you just want more room to play around, I would recommend the M Audio Key Station 49. And I've gone back to this thing over and over and over again. Right now, I don't have that one. I've got a Nectar right here because I found a really good deal on it. But any other time that I've rebuilt my setup, I've gone after one of these. So $99 brand new for that. $68 refurbished. Found a refurbished one. All right. So those are the tools that you can use, and the only tools that you need to actually build out your studio. So what's your next step? Let me know. Like, what one piece of gear is necessary for you to start producing your own songs? Don't overthink it. Just think of what's the next step. What would you like to include? All right. And leave me a comment. Tell me what's up with that. And if you are looking for a way to put all this together, right? You want a blueprint to a home studio, I've got you covered. StudioGearBlueprint.com. Link is in the description, of course. It's a free guide I put together just wanting to help kind of help people build out their own home studio, whether you're starting at the beginning or you're a little more advanced and you're looking into sound treatment and monitors and stuff like that.